Ah, the Nintendo Wii. It had a library of fun, charming and adorable little games. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said that the Wii catered well to a mature audience, or to coin the phrase, the hardcore gamer, but that doesn't mean that it was completely void of any games that weren't afraid to use blood, bad language and even show a little nudity. Which is why I'm here to highlight some of my favourite Wii games that were definitely not meant for kids. And if there are any others that you want me to talk about in a future episode, then drop us a comment below. First up are the two No More Heroes games from the delightfully insane mind of Suda51. Both games saw you play as the somewhat arrogant yet determined Travis Touchdown, slicing and dicing your way through hundreds of mindless goons with your beam katana, which when run out of power requires you to recharge it by doing a very suggestive motion. I think he's pretending to pull up a carrot from the ground, in case you didn't know.
Hold on. Oh yeah!
The combat, whilst very satisfying, can get a bit monotonous after extended periods of play. Luckily, both games are broken up by some extremely memorable boss battles, each more bizarre than the last. I would definitely recommend both games if you've never tried them, although I personally prefer No More Heroes 2 over the first, due to the larger variety of missions, the refined combat and, because I'm a bit of a masochist, the inclusion of the good old red stuff. Because, in case you weren't aware, the European and Japanese versions of the first No More Heroes had no blood and instead had money and ash or something, which is why it only received the PEGI rating of 16+, whilst its blood-soaked sequel gained a 15. Wait, what?
You gotta be kidding!
Next up is Dead Space Extraction. Now, the Dead Space series is known for haunting gamers on the PS3 and 360 with its brooding atmosphere and terrifying enemies, the Necromorphs. The Wii instead was treated to a prequel, reliving the terror on the USG Ishimura prior to the docking of Isaac Clarke in the first Dead Space. Instead of being another over-the-shoulder third-person shooter, Extraction is an on-rails light gun-styled game. But rather than being your typical fast-paced arcade action shooter, Extraction was a slow, haunting and all-round creepy experience, with the characters you play as slowly going insane from the marker. The Dead Space games are infamous for the way that you have to dismember your enemies in order to kill them, and Extraction takes that one step further by having you hack off your own arm towards the end of the game. It pretty much comes out of nowhere, but as gut-wrenching as this is, it's actually a pretty cool homage to the box art of the first Dead Space. That's genius, and also disgusting. MadWorld. If its black and white comic book style visuals don't immediately catch your eye, then its ultra-violence certainly will. But much like No More Heroes, it's so nonsensical and over the top that it instead comes off as comedic. But whereas No More Heroes has a laser sword, MadWorld has a chainsaw attached to your arm. And that still isn't enough, as you're awarded more points for the more inventive kills. You could just chainsaw a guy in half, or you could trap him in a tyre, ram a signpost through his skull, and then chuck him into a spiked dumpster, cutting him in half. Even with this seemingly endless way to dispose of your enemies, you will end up using the most efficient for time and points, which unfortunately does endure some repetition. That aside though, MadWorld is still a lot of fun to play. With its intuitive use of the Wii Remote, fantastic art design and hilarious commentary, it's definitely one of the Wii's best third-party titles.
That's what I call a finishing move.
When it comes to talking mature games on the Wii, it's hard not to mention the House of the Dead Overkill, purely for getting into the Guinness Book of Records for the most amount of F-bombs dropped in a video game. It has since been trumped, but there's much more to Overkill than simply swearing. There's abuse to the disabled, references to incest, and a creepy stalker chick in an abandoned hospital, because nothing screams freaky more than hospitals and that girl from The Ring. Really though, Overkill has its tongue planted firmly within its cheek. It's more than self-aware, and it's all done in a wonderfully stylised 70s grindhouse film. The witty dialogue, the nonsensical story and the non-stop action blend together in harmony to form a thrilling and undeniably memorable on-rails co-op shooter. As much as Extraction is a slow, tense, character-driven experience, Overkill is as much a balls-to-the-wall, no-nonsense zombie blast that reinvigorated the light gun arcade genre.
Tell anyone what that fucking G stands for? No.
Out of all the adult-centric games I've mentioned, House of the Dead Overkill has to be a personal favourite, but they're all worth picking up if you own either a Wii or a Wii U. Because, let's be honest, there's not much to play on the Wii U right now until Rayman Legends is, oh wait. Again, if there are any other mature Wii games that I didn't mention and you want me to talk about in another episode, then be sure to give us a recommendation in the comments section below. And if you want to see more of my videos, then you can head over to my channel where I upload every week.